Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 14 of my modded survival island. Last episode we were working on a little bit more Thaumium over on our Thaumium island, making ourselves the boots of the traveler. And don't worry, today we're moving away from Thaumium into a bit of a different kind of magical mod. We're moving into magical crops. So, we've been using magical crops for quite a while now, and what I've gone ahead and done since the end of last episode is actually update magical crops to a newer version that I didn't actually know about. People in the comment section informed me that there was a newer version of magical crops out, so I've updated, and there is a ton new stuff in the newer versions of magical crops that I didn't even know existed. For example, if we type in seed and go to the second page here in NEI, there are loads of seeds. The first one on this list is the Fluix seed, which is a brand new one. And as you may have guessed, if you've ever played with Applied Energistics, the Fluix seeds allow you to make Fluix crystals. You get Fluix essence when you plant them and harvest them, and then you can use that Fluix essence to make Fluix crystals, or the pure Fluix crystals, or anything like that. They have draconic seeds, they have like copper seeds, which are always a thing, but they're still really cool, draconic seeds. They have Thaumium seeds, water shard seeds. They've got all kinds of seeds, which we can do all kinds of stuff with and basically grow a lot of the stuff that we would usually mine, which is really cool. Some people think magical crops is a little bit overpowered. I kind of agree sometimes, but I like things that are a little bit overpowered, as anybody who has watched any amount of my stuff for any period of time will be able to tell you. So, we're going to start with a little bit of magical crops. Now, the way that the new magical crops works is instead of getting the essence that we got before, so all of the essence that we previously had, all the stuff in this chest, is gone. It's not a thing anymore. It doesn't exist. In the newer versions, you go through tiers, I guess, of seeds and tiers of essence. Now, if I was to actually go back to seeds and click on Fluix, you'll see Fluix is made using Imperio essence. Imperio, I think, is the third highest, or maybe the highest. It's the highest. So Imperio is the highest tier. Below that is Crucio, below that is Accuria, and below that is Manisha. Manisha is the lowest tier of essence, and you can get all of these seeds. So if I type in Manisha seeds, you'll see we have them over here. So we can grow Manisha, and then of course we use Manisha as well as the infusion crystals, I believe they're called, to make the higher tier, to make the Accuria, etc., etc. Yeah, we use these infusion stones to obviously turn Manisha into Accuria, and then Accuria into the next one, which is Crucio, and then Crucio into Imperio to make the highest tier of seeds possible. So, where do we get that first set of Manisha? Because it's not mineable. Accuria hasn't found any in the little time that it's been on since we updated, and there's no recipe for it. If we look in Applied Energistic in NEI here and click on Manisha, you can see that a Manisha block turns into Manisha, and then also Accuria turns into 4 Manisha, so you can kind of go backwards if you so wish. There's no actual recipe for it here, and the reason for that is because the main way that you get Manisha seeds is through killing mobs. So, the first thing we're going to do before we get into automating the farming of magical crops, which is what I want to do at the end of today's episode. But the first thing we need to do is set up some kind of mob spawner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up something that I've set up multiple times before, but it's going to be just a big dropper mob system. There's going to be a big kind of cube in the sky with water pushing mobs towards the middle, and then a drop tunnel that brings them down to the bottom, where they will either die when they hit the floor, or we'll have something like the grinder or extra utility spikes at the bottom ready to kill them and collect all the stuff that they drop, so that we can then use the drops for like bone meal, spider eyes, and then obviously the Manisha, which we can then use to make seeds. Cool, right? Now, usually when I do this, I make like a big cobblestone mess, and it looks kind of horrible. It works, which is good, but it usually is just made entirely of cobblestone and looks kind of terrible. So, what I want to try and do this time, and I put emphasis on the word try, is make one that doesn't look as terrible. So, I'm going to try and go with the theme that we've kind of been going for so far on our island, and that is kind of this wood theme, having like the logs on the outside and the oak on the inside, and I also want to make something that is known as dark glass. So dark glass is very similar to normal glass, except that it's dark, obviously. Now, the way you make this is using 4 blackout curtains, which is just 6 wool. Now, I have gone ahead and got myself a bunch more industrial hemp fiber since the end of last episode, so we can make a bunch of string and therefore a bunch of wool, and we can go ahead and make ourselves a few of these curtains, which apparently do not work because we have a conflict with Malice's doors, which is very interesting. I'm gonna have to fix that. But basically, these usually make blackout curtains, and then the blackout curtains can be combined up with this stuff here, this thickened glass, which you get by smelting sandy glass, which is made by combining sand and glass. We can get ourselves a bunch of sand by macerating cobblestone, and then of course we can get glass by smelting said sand. But if we do this, that will get us some sandy glass, which we can then smelt into thickened glass over here, which we can then combine up with the blackout curtains to make ourselves some dark glass, which, like I said before, is very similar to normal glass, but basically it doesn't let light through. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have like a big frame over here made of oak logs, which we have a ton of, by the way, thanks to our tree farm over there. But we're going to have a big outline made of oak wood logs, and then the insides, I kind of want to have a lot of it made of dark glass, so we can kind of see what's going on, but at the same time, don't let any light through, so the mobs will still spawn, will still drop, and will still die and give us their drops. So that's the plan. I'm going to go away, I'm going to build this thing. It's probably going to take me a little while, so that's why I'm going to cut it out. You don't want to spend 40 minutes watching me build this thing, but I'm going to go away, I'm going to try and build it, I'm going to tweak the recipe for blackout curtains, because apparently that needs fixing, and I'll also update the pack to like version 1.0.7 for those who are still playing along. So that you can make the blackout curtains as well. But I'm going to go away, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, we have ourselves a mob spawner. Nice. So I'm not 100% happy with how the mob spawner turned out. I think it looks okay. The downside is that this kind of mob spawner doesn't work all that well outside of things like skyblocks or maps that are just like big flat wastelands, because mobs have other places they can spawn, and so they don't spawn as much in the little top box up there. You can see there aren't many dropping down. They drop down very infrequently, but for now, this will work just fine. In the future, we can upgrade it if we like, maybe throw some cursed earth in there to make it work a little bit better and spawn a few more mobs. But for now, all we need this to do is spawn a couple of mobs so that we can get enough Manisha essence to make our first set of Manisha seeds. And then once we've got our first set of Manisha seeds, we can sit down, we can use the watering can, and we can just keep growing them, breaking them, growing them, breaking them over and over and over again. As we do that, we will just progressively get more and more seeds, because there is a percentage chance they will drop more. And as we progress, therefore, we will get more and more seeds, more and more Manisha, and eventually we'll have so much that we don't even have to worry about the mob farm anymore anyway. But yeah, like I said, in the future, I'll probably upgrade this just so that we can get things like gunpowder, string, zombie brains, and stuff like that in excess. But for now, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and make a quick sword. We could make an iron sword, but I think a stone sword is probably a little bit more efficient. I also learned a few things whilst I was busy building this little mob spawner here. The first is that the Boots of the Traveler actually speed up your movement speed, and it's kind of crazy that we've hit episode 14, and that's the first time we've made a sword. But anyway, the Boots of the Traveler actually increase your speed even if you're not on the ground, which means even when I'm flying with my jetpack, I move forward faster than I normally would, which is very nice indeed, because one of the first things that I don't like about the jetpack is that if you try and move forward, you move forward extremely slow. But now with the Boots of the Traveler, we move forward a little bit faster, which is pretty nice. Also, you'll notice our tree farm has done a really good job since we cut away there. And I also learned that if this chest over here gets full, which it has done on multiple occasions now, I've had to pull out quite a few saplings and put them in other chests. But basically, when this chest gets full, the picker, this guy over here, will still try and drop stuff off, but the way that buildcraft pipes work is he'll drop them off, he'll sit here, things will go down, and then when they can't go into the chest, they'll kind of just pop out onto the floor, and they'll sit there, at which point this guy's like, oh, this stuff on the floor, so he'll stop what he's doing, jump off this little pedestal, go pick it back up, jump back up, land on here, and try to put it in again. So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing, because it means that we're never gonna lose stuff. Everything that kind of doesn't go in there will just end up on the floor and get picked back up again, which is pretty nice. Just a little thing I thought I'd mention. It was pretty funny to watch that guy just like over and over and over again try and do the same thing. And I also changed the recipe for the black curtains for those who are wondering. I've now made it so you can use this recipe down here. The exact same recipe, just like tilted on its side. This one still doesn't work, but this one will work if you try it now. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to stand in this little like indentation I made. You can see we've already got one Manisha over there. I'm going to kill as many of these mobs as I can. Try and get enough. Oh, we might actually have enough already. Let's just go and fight this guy. How much Manisha did we get from that? We got 2. Alright, and I believe we need 8 in order to make our first actual seed. Yeah, we do. So, I'm gonna go away, I'm gonna fight as many mobs as I can, I'm gonna try and get to 8 Manisha Essence so I can get some seeds, and I'll be back in a second. And quite a bit of mob killing later, and we've got ourselves 8 of the Manisha Essence, so we should now be able to go over to our crafting station, do something like this, and get ourselves the Manisha seeds. Cool. So basically what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go away again. I'm going to put these down over on this side. And oh, jeez. That is so loud. All right. First of all, I'm going to turn my sounds down because, wow, that crusher is crazy. I'm going to get rid of those. I'm going to plant this guy like right here, grab my watering can, and then just sit here for like 25 minutes, waiting for this thing to grow, cutting it down, getting the seeds, planting them again, and waiting until we have like, I think about 40 Manisha Essence is what I need to proceed with what I want to do this episode. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a second. And a little while later, we now have the 40 Manisha Essence that we need, as well as quite a lot of Manisha Seeds, which is pretty cool. So, what I want to work on now is I'm going to do a little bit of a U-turn that might not make a ton of sense just yet, but trust me, it does link back in to automating the production of these magical crops without having to stand around with a watering can, and that is Immersive Engineering. So we're going to go into Immersive Engineering, and we're going to build ourselves a coke oven. So the coke oven is made using these coke blocks, and to make those, we need clay, bricks, and sandstone. Now, we don't have a ton of clay around us, and as we figured out earlier in the series, there isn't actually, like, almost any around the island either, so one of the only ways that we can make it is through magical crops. So if we go ahead and type in clay into NEI and look at the recipe, we can make clay using water essence and earth essence. Now, both of these require Accuria in order to be able to make them, so we need to make ourselves some Accuria. Now, the way that we make Accuria is using Manisha and an infusion stone. Now, I believe we're going to need a diamond, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it looks something like this. That gets us a weak infusion stone. You can see it says Manisha to Accuria, and these things do have durability, which is something that did change since the last version of magical crops. This will now break after a certain time, which is a bit of a shame. You can also make this with gold blocks as well, by the way. You don't have to use diamonds. I believe, yes, you can use gold blocks as well. Unfortunately, we only have 5 gold right now, so we couldn't use gold blocks, but nonetheless, we can go ahead and do something like this and get ourselves quite a bit of Accuria. Now, we're going to need 8 in total, and that is a creeper because I left the dark glass open. Let me quickly close that up. Like so. Actually, I'm just going to close it up fully because occasionally we do get the odd little, like, baby zombie or skeleton. They'll run down, and I don't have to fight them. So, we've now got ourselves 8 Accuria. We can then go ahead and make ourselves some water and some earth seeds. So, earth seeds are just dirt. Water seeds are creepers. Where the heck did you come from? Thankfully, they're very weak once they drop down, but where the heck did that guy come from? Anyway, water seeds are buckets of water, so I wonder if we get those buckets of water back. I bet we don't. That's fine. Let's go ahead and make a few more of those. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. And if we go fill all those up. 1, 2. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Alright, so once I finally managed to get myself 4 water buckets, we can now go ahead and do something like this with our 4 Accuria and our normal seeds. That gets us our first water seeds. These will work in the exact same way as the Manisha seeds will, so we'll get more and more of these as we grow them and harvest them and grow them and harvest them and so on and so forth. And then we want to do the exact same thing with a little bit of dirt. Now, my question is, do we have any dirt lying around? Yes, we do. We've got quite a bit. By the way, another interesting way to make dirt, actually, is using the leaves that we have over here. What we can actually do, and I should probably go over here because the leaves are currently stored over here, but basically, what you can do... Oh, no! No, my jetpack is running out of fuel. That is not good. Because what I've done as well, by the way, a little side note here, is I've gone ahead and set up a bit of space for all of the magical crop farms that we're going to have over here. You'll notice we used a heck of a lot of dirt, and I didn't use much of the dirt from our cache over there, because what we can do instead is if I just quickly run over here, and hopefully there's some leaves on the floor, which there are. I'm just going to pick up a few of those. What we can do is we can turn these leaves into plant balls from Industrial Craft 2, and then you can macerate those up into dirt like so. So if I was to do something like this, we get ourselves a plant ball. You can then macerate that plant ball over here, and that should turn into, I think it's 8 dirt in total, which is pretty nice. Did I put my jetpack in there? No, I put it in the completely wrong place. We'll put it there, and any second now, we should really work on some overclockers for this macerator, because it is slow, but eventually, it turns into 8 dirt. Nice. So I'll take that. We will take you back. Thank you very much. We'll drop that stick. Don't need it. Don't want it. Okay. Back over here. I did die underwater, by the way, which is what that little face is down there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Accuria all around, seeds in the middle. This gets us some earth seeds. So again, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to harvest and plant and water these over and over and over again until we get enough essence to make all the clay that we need to make ourselves the cook oven blocks. I'll probably also go ahead and smelt the clay into bricks as well, so we don't have to wait for me to do that. And I'll be back in a second. So I've done a bunch of farming with the new seeds. We've got 2 stacks of clay. I'm just waiting for the last of my bricks here to smelt up. Whilst we wait for those, we can go ahead and make some sandstone, like so, and I believe I need 14 of these. We can make 16 with that, and actually we can make 16 if we wait for this to finish. I think we need 56 bricks in order to fully create the coke oven, because the coke oven is a multi-block structure that contains 27 of these coke oven blocks in a 3x3x3 area with the middle left hollow. So let's take you, let's do something like that. That gets us 24, which means we need like 1 or 2 more here. We'll do that. That gets us 26. We need 1 more set in order to make this work. So whilst we wait for those to finish, I have gone ahead and cleared out a little area over here, because I wasn't too sure where to put the coke oven. I'm going to use it to make stuff for the magical crops, but I didn't really feel like it needed to go over in the magical crops area. Also, there's no space for it over there. And then also, I didn't really want to put it over here, but it kind of fits in the theme of we have another immersive engineering block over here, so why not? For now, it's going to go here like so. We're going to build the base. Then again, you want to leave the middle hollow like so. And then the top, again, wants to be a full 9x9 cross-section like so. And I think it might need to be 1 taller, because I'm fairly certain that 26 isn't enough. So let me take you. Let me take you. And did I do something wrong there? 3x3x3. Arrange 27 of these blocks. We didn't have 27, did we? Did we? No, we did not. Wait, what? Okay, so it turns out I was completely wrong. You do, in fact, have to have 1 block in the middle. And then if we go ahead and grab our engineer's hammer, give it a right click, it forms a fully functional coke oven. So what the coke oven allows us to do is turn coal into coal coke, which on its own isn't very useful, but there is a pretty useful byproduct that is creosote oil that is made when we do this. So let's grab like a stack of coal and let's throw it into the coal coke oven like so. Now, unfortunately, this process takes forever. Like, if we go ahead and let me look here, if I press U in NEI and we go across enough, we should come across the coal coke oven. It takes 1,800 ticks to complete, which is a ridiculously long time. Bear in mind, there are 26 per second in Minecraft. Now, that's 90 seconds. It's a minute and a half per piece of coal coke, which isn't, like, ridiculously long, but it's pretty long. It's like a real long time. So it's going to take a while for this to turn a full stack into a full stack of coal coke. But as you saw then in NEI, we do get a little bit of creosote oil every time this happens. And we can use that creosote oil, put it into little jars, use it to turn our normal oak wood into this treated wood over here, because 8 wooden planks with some creosote oil makes 8 treated wooden planks, which we can then use to make treated sticks, as well as things like water wheel segments, windmill blades, and all kinds of cool cool stuff as well as treated scaffolding from Immersive Engineering. So what I'm going to do, guys, between this episode and next, I'm going to leave this thing running until we have just a ton of creosote, like a little full tank here, maybe even some more. And yeah, I'm going to let that do that thing. We've got our first one there. It's going to take forever. Next time, we'll come back and I will actually show you how this links in to us fully automating our magical crop fields, which are going to go over here. I'm basically going to expand this way, maybe out that way and around if we go too far out that way for all of our magical crop fields. And with that, guys, I'm going to end today's episode of Modern Survival Island there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like it. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below and I will see you guys next time.